Hi, I'm Debbie Clement-Large and welcome to this masterclass today. This is part of the Grow Your Mind, Grow Your Business masterclass, and this time we're going to be having a look at the power of belief. So if you're one of my regular masterminders or masterclass subscribers, and welcome back, it's great to have you here again. And if you're new, thank you for joining us and being part of this live masterclass. And as everyone arrives, just to let you know that you are in attendee listen only mode. So please introduce yourself in the chat box. It's always good to say hello to you. Now, feel free to ask any questions as we go, and we'll do our best to answer them for you. And as I said, this is another in the Grow Your Mind, Grow Your Business series, co-presented with business coach Jonathan Keeble. And we'll be chatting and sharing our knowledge and expertise in our personal growth as a leader, and in the practical business growth. So today we'll be looking at how we can really see a difference in the levels of success by powering up your belief. And hello, Jonathan, how are you?
Hi, Debbie. How are you doing? And let me introduce you. I'm very pleased to introduce Debbie Clement-Large. Debbie's an international creative life and leadership coach, motivational speaker, and founder of Why Follow the Herd. She takes the power of story, psychology, and metaphysical, it's a mouthful, I know, techniques, and combines them to create transformational life and business coaching programs. Debbie has worked with CEOs, directors, managers, employees, entrepreneurs, university students, and anyone who wants to take that transformational journey to creating the life story they wish to tell. And believe it or not, this isn't just something she has learned. She has lived these transformational changes during her journey, not only in her personal life, but from actor to chartered management accountant to international business analyst to creating programs and coaching support that stretch across the world. Well, it's a big warm welcome to you, Debbie, and I look forward to this session.
Thank you, Jonathan. That's lovely. Wow, thank you for that. That's really nice. What was really good about doing this session is that now let me just share a page with you, because when everybody signed up, they would have seen a registration page, and it would have had this quote on it, and I'll just share it with you now. Okay, so let me make it a bit bigger. There we go. So imagination will take you so far in your journey, and belief will take you all the way. And that is so important, because it says that whatever we want to create in our lives, whether it's a new product or service or promotion, a new business, new relationship, new house, new client, new contract, whatever it is, and that really doesn't matter whether it's something personal or professional, everything works the same. And everything we want is first imagined before we can create it. And I think that is just so powerful, that everything started off in our thoughts. So have a look around you now, and I invite everybody wherever you are now to do the same. So it doesn't matter what you can see. So can you see a chair, a desk? You can see a computer. I can see a flip chart. All these things were first created in someone's imagination. Somebody saw that first in their thoughts, how it was going to work out, before they then brought that into life, until they created it in a physical form. That's just it just shows how powerful our imagination is.
Certainly, I've got to say, I could do with tidying up certain parts of my office, actually. I wish you'd not said that, actually, Debbie.
But it's true. Everything that we can see all around us now was in somebody's imagination before they were created in reality.
I suppose that's the aspirations of people, I suppose, in years gone by, when people look at the moon, to think someone would actually go to the moon.
Yeah.
And I suppose it's like a lot of fiction in comic magazines and so forth. Someone thinks of something, and years go down the line, it becomes a reality. It's about opening your mind to opportunities, I suppose, isn't it?
Absolutely. And you know what? That's exactly what it is. And there's a really good 4-step process to creating something. So we're going to go through that. So the first step is the ability to clear your mind. Now I'm already doing a Clear Your Mind challenge, and I've got a load of people following that. It's a 14-day challenge. So if you're already doing it, and I know I've been having some really nice emails about that people are getting a lot out of that. So if you're not doing it, you'll have another chance to be able to do that again in the future and in a short while. But that is really key, is to that first step in allowing in. Do you ever get the feeling when you've got so much going on and your head is just full of things you have to do, you should have done, you wish you'd done, things you wish you'd said, all the rest of it?
That's why I need a diary, and I keep a diary because that helps me stay on course. But you're spot on there, I think.
And the thing is when we've got our heads so full of things that we have to do, we haven't got any room to allow in new ideas and inspiration, because it needs a chink in our thoughts to allow it to come in. And if we're just completely jam-packed with stuff, actually we're not allowing ourselves to the possibility of creating new things.
So clearing your mind is the first step, isn't it?
It's definitely the first step, and it's a really good skill. It's absolutely key to creating new things. And that doesn't matter whether, like I said earlier, whether it's a personal thing or whether it's a professional thing. Everything starts off allowing space to be in the present moment, to be just you, allowing a little bit of clearing your mind. It doesn't mean you say you have to sit and not think of anything, because most people can't do that, but it's just clearing a bit of clutter.
Is there any sort of exercise you can do that just to create that space at all?
There's tons of them, and I've got,
oh wow,
my challenge is jam-packed with a new challenge and a new tool every day.
Wow.
So that's 14 days of taking you from the really, really short right up, the most is 15 minutes. Right. And it starts off with like a minute or two, a few minutes. And it just gradually works up. And there's different things. There's outside, inside, things to think about, things to breathing. So it's all different. And it just gives you new things to find something that suits you, because we're all different, aren't we?
So is there just one I could do sitting in my chair right now?
Okay. And I've taken you through this one before, and this is a really good one. Breathing one.
Yeah, got it. Okay.
So we'll take so if you'd like to close your eyes. Yeah. Okay. So the next breath in, I want you to take it in over 4 seconds. So we breathe in slowly. And hold that breath in your tummy and allow that tummy to expand. And then release that slowly out. And then hold it for 4 seconds. And I want you to do that again. Breathe in. But take your awareness with your breath. Follow your breath down. Hold it now in your tummy. And then release that breath back up. And hold that breath out. And now you can open your eyes. Now it's just 2 rounds of breath, but already because you're taking your awareness and following your breath, you're taking it off the clutter in your head.
And I've got spare capacity in my brain, Debbie.
So you're creating spare capacity just in 2 breaths.
I'm going to use that. I'm definitely going to use that, especially if I'm before a seminar. I think it's a good one, just so I can keep my mind, so I'm focused actually on what I'm going to deliver. So that's a really good exercise.
Good. And it works really well. You can actually do it in meetings as well. If you do it without closing your eyes, you can just do that breathing, and it's really good for sort of balancing your emotions, helping you just to feel less stressed. It's a really good stress and anxiety buster as well.
Yeah, thanks for doing that. That was good.
Yeah, that's all right. So the second step, the first step's clearing your mind. The second step is about the power of imagination. Now we need to be able to see and visualize what we want in order to be able to bring it into reality. So we'll go into a little bit on that. The third step is being able to listen to our inner sat-nav, our little guiding, intuition, gut feeling, call it whatever you want.
Right.
And then taking action on those gut feelings. And then the last step today is the powerful step that we're going to be talking really about today, is that of belief. Because we can clear our minds, we can imagine what we want to do, we can get that gut feeling that we should do something and we want to follow it. But if we don't really believe that we can do it, we can hold ourselves back. And that's really important.
I get that, Debbie. It's actually, I suppose, really, if you're going into a situation that you're probably a little bit nervous on, and you think about what the outcome's going to be in that situation, and you believe that you're going to deliver a certain procedure in that, and deliver what you want to deliver, so you have the right outcome, and you come out and thinking, this is what I want to say, this is what I want to do, and this is what I'm going to achieve. I suppose that has worked for me actually quite recently. So, and that's something you actually taught me on a previous session. So that was pretty cool.
That's good, because thinking you can doing something that you want to do something,
yeah,
having it intellectually, but really believing it is two different things.
I get that.
And we can subconsciously hold ourselves back, even though we might think we want to do something. And I'll illustrate this now, because this is actually really important. So let me just pop. If I share the screen again, and I can, because the best way to do this is by popping up an image. So let's go on to the next slide. Okay. So do you remember this? So this was off Dr. Dolittle, and it was a push me, pull you. So I don't know if you remember it. But let's take us through, I'll take us through a personal example of how this could work. So let's say that you want to learn a new skill. Say you want to learn to fly a light aircraft. Okay. Now you can look up in the sky and you can see one of those little planes going over, and you can think, do you know what? If that person can do it, I can do it. You know, I can drive a car. I've learned how to do that, so I can learn how to fly a plane. And why not? So what you're doing then is you're moving in the direction of where you want to go. So that red arrow is pointing you in the direction of where you want to go. You want to go towards learning to fly a light aircraft. So, you know, all you've got to do is find a flying school, a qualified instructor, and have the money to pay for the lessons. And, you know, you can learn to fly. But underneath that, you might be thinking, and this is where the blue arrow comes in, or do you know what, the lessons cost too much? What if I can't make the available times? What if I'm not intelligent enough to be able to understand all those rules of flying, all those dials, and, you know, everything that goes on with flying? You know, it sounds really complicated. You know, what if I have an accident? It's really dangerous being up there. You know, I could die. And then the words start moving us away from what we want. So 1 minute we're moving in the direction of it, and the next minute we're pulling ourselves away from it. So we're taking, I'll unshare that now. There we go. So we're taking, oops, stop sharing. We're like taking 2 steps towards what we want. And then we start doubting ourselves, not sure, all those negative words come in, and we start moving in the other direction. So it's 2 steps.
Yeah, have you got an example like that with working business, for instance? You know?
I certainly have. Yeah, and actually, this is a true. This is a true example of what happened. And there was a small business, and they had an opportunity to go to tender for a contract, and this contract was really, really in line with their business, their strategy, where they wanted to go. It was really important. They were a very small company, and they were wanting to do, you know, to grow a bit. And this contract would really help them financially. It helped them to be more stable. Yeah. So this contract was perfect. It came at the perfect time. It just needed it when that company not only wanted to grow a bit, but it needed that financial boost as well. So to the owners of that small business, it was incredibly important, and they were really, really keen on winning that contract. Now, as I said, they already had some employees, and that tendering process was going to be handled by a trusted employee. And this employee went off to meetings, but somehow he kept turning up late. Something would happen, he'd get stuck in traffic, or he'd forget something and he'd have to go back for it, and he'd end up getting late, or he'd end up getting lost to the venue. And, you know, it kept going from one sort of excuse to the other. Then he put this presentation pitch together. And when he presented it didn't necessarily come out very well. He didn't pitch it right. And it just, that one thing after another kept going wrong. And he kept saying, oh, you know, I really want to do this contract. I want to win it. This was the employee. You know, he felt desperate. He didn't want to get fired. And, you know, when you said to him, did he want to win the contract? Yeah, this is really important. I definitely want to win this contract. And the problem is that they didn't win it because, you know, they didn't show their best side of themselves. You know, they're turning up late. It didn't make them look as though they were really engaged. You know, they didn't have the right information. You know, it was all a bit sloppy. So afterwards, what transpired through conversations was that the person, the employee, was subconsciously didn't believe that he would be able to manage such a big contract because it would be his responsibility to manage that contract. And he was afraid of failure. So subconsciously, so it's a bit like the push me, pull you. He was going towards the red saying, I definitely want the contract. Really want to get the contract. That's really important. But then underneath, the way he was feeling, the way he was talking to himself, he was pulling himself in the other direction by feeling, do you know what, I'm a bit scared of managing that contract. I don't really feel like I can handle that. And I don't want to look like I'm a failure. I don't want to mess it up. I might get the sack. And so if his thoughts literally attracted the failure because he spent more time thinking about what he didn't want and what he couldn't do rather than what he could do.
Yeah, you know, you put belief as a force. You know, you put it as that.
Mm-hmm.
With belief, there's got to be an element of commitment as well, because you might believe it, but there's got to be a start date, isn't it? It's like you have to measure yourself. You've got to have a start date to when that belief starts to kick in. So is there a commitment involved in that belief?
The interesting thing is,
what I'm trying to sort of say, you know what I'm trying to sort of say? It's like, you know, like with that contract, which is a really good idea, you know, a good example, but you know, it's, you can procrastinate throughout your life. Believe that you can do something, but you can always procrastinate. And sometimes you've got to make that first step, that commitment, that leap into the dark. Would you say that leap into the dark is the belief? That's all part of the belief as well?
Well, it is, but I think the bigger thing to think about, and you're kind of right, but we've got to think it in a bigger scale, because it's a bit like if we put on weight. Say we put on weight and we think, oh, do you know what? My trousers are feeling really tight now. I've put on half a stone or whatever it is. That takes a little while to put that on. So it takes a little while to take it off.
Yeah, it certainly does.
Yeah. And it's the same with our belief. We can't necessarily switch it on. Yeah, it takes a while to get into those negative thinking things that I can't do something, or I'm not good enough, or I'm not worthy to hold that contract, or all the rest of it, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So actually, we've got to be conscious of what we're thinking all the time, because the words we think, the words we say to ourselves is a 24/7 process. So it's not just about thinking I've got to get a contract and I've got to think positively for this contract. And yes, that is important. So if you know you're leading up to it, you can start changing your thoughts. But actually, you probably should start changing them anyway.
Yeah.
All the time. Once you come to realize that something is working negatively for you, that's the time for you to do something about it. Not wait until it's something really important that you're aiming for.
Gotcha.
So everything we say is incredibly important. And some people will say, I don't know if you've ever heard of things like affirmations.
Yeah.
Yeah. And people will say, oh, do you know what? I'm gonna have a go with saying something. And they'll say it a couple of times and think that's enough. And then they'll spend the rest of the day berating themselves and putting themselves down. You know, you're moving towards what you don't want. And what you've got to do is you've got to flip it, and more than 50% of the time be telling yourself how good you are, how much you can handle stuff, that you can handle that contract, that you can fly that plane, that you can do this, or you can afford to do something. You just got to find the means to do it, and that you can make that new product. You've just got to, it's not that I can't do it or I can't afford it, because you're automatically putting the shutters down. You're wanting to explore the way to be able to find the way to do it.
Yeah.
Keeping those options open and remembering that everything you're thinking, everything you're saying 24/7, every second of the day will count towards you moving towards what you want or moving away from it. It's pretty powerful.
Certainly is.
When we really think about it, because how often do we say we want something, and then in the background we can spend the rest of the day thinking, do you know, I'm never going to get that. I'm never going to be able to do that. And all that's moving us away and away from really achieving that.
Would it be a good idea, for instance, if you believe you want to achieve something, you have the belief to achieve something, you actually write it down on a piece of paper, and post it to yourself, and get it back in 3 months' time, and actually see if you had the belief to get there? Would that work?
Yeah, anything like that. You can post yourself letters, you can do vision boards, you can put things up on the wall, you can meditate on stuff, you can journal on stuff. There's all sorts of different ways. You just got to find, and that's kind of what coaching's all about. It's about helping. There are tools that you can do exercises over 24 hours, and you can understand how you're speaking, how you're thinking, what words are you using.
Yeah.
And then once they become conscious, because most of the time, don't forget, they're on the subconscious level. So we do it without always realizing we're doing it. You know, how often, and I know I've done this, how often I've been into shop and thought, well, do you know, I can't afford that. And then when I look about it, I think, well, actually, I can afford it. I'm just choosing not to want to buy it at the moment. And that's a better way of thinking about it.
I get that. I need to use a bit more of that thinking.
But, you know, automatically, if we're saying we can't do something, we're limiting ourselves to achieving it.
No, I get it. I do get that. It's I think it's a positive thought of actually that you know, it is the belief in yourself that you can actually achieve what you want to. But what's really important, I think, is writing it down on a piece of paper, because when you do that, you see it and you commit to it.
Yeah.
You believe you can achieve it. Whereas if it's just a thought, for me, that's just not enough. You know,
yeah.
As soon as I write it on a piece of paper, I'm halfway through committing myself to actually delivering what.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know.
And the thing is not to put that piece of paper in a drawer.
No.
Stick it on the wall.
No, exactly, or stick it.
Put it on lots of walls.
I have lots of post-it notes I use from time to time.
Yeah.
I cleared them for this seminar, for this webinar.
Yeah, I do. I have some beside the bed.
Yeah.
You can put them by the mirror. You can put them up on, if you've got business ones in particular, put them up. If you want to have a positive culture where you're working, is put them up for everybody to see.
Yeah.
For your employees, for your customers when they're coming in, and they can sort of feel and get that vibe and the energy of what sort of business you are.
That's why some businesses, you walk in there and you'll see 10 points of culture.
Yeah.
Up on a board, and which actually portrays actually how people communicate with each other, how they work with each other, and also how they communicate and deliver to customers as well.
Yeah.
Which is a really cool thing to do, because you should only really speak to other people as you want to be spoken to,
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Culture, so yeah, I get it.
So when you said about writing them down, the thinking is the first stage, because it becomes conscious that you're thinking out of alignment with what you want.
Yeah, I'm just going on in my mind about a sort of like, if you're writing a business plan.
Yeah.
People who write a business plan down and write it on a piece of paper, 80% have a better chance of achieving those goals or intentions, or what you like to call them, than if you put it in the head.
Yeah. And especially if you share them with other people.
Exactly. There's a commitment then.
There's a commitment then.
And that's what I like. It's the actual commitment, the first step. People saying, oh, so when are you going to do that?
Yeah.
And then you realize the whole team are then pulling together, and it's a different environment then. It's a nice environment.
Absolutely. So the thing is that it all starts from our thoughts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But is that
That's
why belief? Is that why belief is last?
belief is like the foundation, because
It's the most important thing, isn't it?
it supports us moving forward. So we can allow in new ideas and inspiration. We can imagine what we want is our vision for the future, how our lives want to look, what we want to achieve.
Yeah.
And then we can listen to our intuition, follow those opportunities, those situations, to moving forward, taking that positive action. But underpinning all that, we need to believe we can do it.
Yeah.
If we don't, we'll be like going for that contract. We'll scupper ourselves along the way, because we'll be either a bit afraid of getting the outcome.
Of course.
Because what if you there's that quote, and it says something about beware what you wish for.
Yeah.
So if you want to do something, do you really want your life or your business to look like that and to act like that? Can you really see it in your imagination? And if it's something that you really spend time imagining and internally living it, feeling it,
Yep.
and then I've had people say to me, actually, that's not kind of how I want it to be at all.
Yeah, certainly.
Intellectually, they think that's what they want, but when they really put it into their heart and really imagine and visualize it, it's not what they want at all.
Is that because sometimes they're influenced by peer pressure, because they think they should be looking at it as other people would expect to see it, rather than as they want to look at it?
Very much.
Right.
Absolutely. And there's one really interesting thing, and I'm going slightly off topic a tiny bit, but there was this book that a lady called Bronnie Ware wrote in Australia, and she worked with terminally ill people in like a hospice. Right. And she wrote this book called The Top 5 Regrets of the Dying. And the first one was not having the courage to do what they wanted.
Yeah.
And actually, they'd spent more time fulfilling the wishes of other people and doing what they thought they should do, rather than actually doing what they wanted. So it's kind of answering your thing. Actually, that is so important, that you're following, which is where your intuition comes in.
Yeah.
And doing things that feel right for you, rather than feeling like
what other people expect of you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
So the next little bit really that's important is, once we understand our thoughts, is that we can't control them, because researchers reckon we get between 60 and 80,000 thoughts per day. And most of those are thoughts that we thought yesterday and the day before and the day before that. We have a lot of ones that come up again and again and again, and we see the world through the lens of our own thoughts and beliefs.
So how do you stop yourself going off tangent and wasting time on the wrong thoughts? How would you control your thoughts?
Yeah, well, the thing is you can't control your thoughts, because it would be exhausting. If we tried to sit and stop 60 to 80,000 thoughts a day, you'd be absolutely exhausted, wouldn't you?
Certainly, I get that. Yeah.
Yeah. So the only way you can do it is by checking in by how you feel. So if you feel good about something feels great, well, it stands to reason you're having a good thought.
Yeah.
Because you can't feel great and feel everything is just working out right and be having really crabby thoughts going on in your head. Doesn't work.
No, I get that.
Yes. But if you're feeling down, if you're feeling angry, if you're feeling frustrated or fearful or anxious or any other negative emotion, then you're not having a good thought, because you can't be. So we can go by our feelings. Our feelings tell us when consciously we need to think about changing the way we're thinking. So I know for a lot of people, you can get up in the morning, you can stub your toe.
Do that, yeah.
And then you think, oh, it's going to be one of those days, is it?
That's actually being a bit sort of starting off on a negative trend, isn't it? So
exactly. And then you can get in the shower and something happens, and then do you know what I mean? It just sort of spirals and spirals, and you get into that fix. This day is rubbish.
How do you flip that into a positive?
Well, you can flip it into a positive by by just having something positive to say. There's always something good to say about any situation. Just because you stub your toe doesn't mean to say it has to last the whole day.
So this is the power of word, then, using words to change.
So you might consciously say, you might get in the shower, you might have a sore toe, but you think, oh, do you know what? This shower is wonderful, and I just feel so alive. I feel showered with thoughts and ideas. And it's going to be a really good day today. and you start consciously, and the more you talk to yourself and the more you think about what you're saying to yourself, you start feeling your thoughts going from down there to suddenly going right up.
So the challenge,
and it changes.
Yeah, so the challenge is when you have got a negative, even if you just say something positive. Actually, say it out aloud or something positive.
Yeah, that's definitely it. Because once you got on that trajectory of going downwards, because something goes wrong, and then the dog gets under your feet, and then something else, you're letting outside circumstances control how you feel.
Well, I've always lived by the rule to have at least one really good laugh a day.
That's really good. Yeah, absolutely.
At work, at home, whatever. And if I haven't had a good laugh a day, I need to understand what's going wrong.
Yeah.
And I would normally, I know it has been at other people's expense and stuff like that, but I have generally, I think most of my life, I think all of my life, had a good laugh a day.
Yeah.
And obviously, quite often it's laughing with people about what I've done, but also it's lovely, laughing at what they've done as well, But
yeah.
I learned that very early on before I went into business. Someone told me, so when you go into business, make sure you have one good laugh a day, or you might actually want to decide if you're in the right business.
Yeah. And do you know what? I think that's really important, because I'm similar to you.
Yeah.
That actually, I will always look for a funny situation, and I've got a very loud laugh.
Well, you have got a good laugh. It's not overly loud. You have got a good laugh, but you are probably one of the most positive, happiest persons I've come across.
Oh, thank you.
You are very positive and happy. So
yeah,
I haven't seen you on that downside yet, so you better keep that quiet.
But it's something, it's something that I've been working on for a long time.
Okay.
And I've been very conscious about, because we all have stuff going on in our lives. I lost my dad when I was 15. I sort of had to feel like I was bringing myself up and independent after then.
Yeah.
I got married, then I got divorced, and then I got, and then I got married again. And then I've had my share of ups and downs and roller coaster ride, the same as everybody else's.
Yeah.
And there were times when I could just sit down and cry.
Yeah.
And I could get really upset about things. I felt stuck in a job. I ended up spending 6 years studying for something that I didn't really. I went down the road of other people's expectations.
That does happen.
Yeah.
People get into that.
And I felt absolutely really unhappy about that. But the thing is that at any point we can start changing the negative thinking that we've had in the past, and we can start turning it round.
Yeah.
And the only time we can ever do anything is in this present moment. I can't change the past.
No.
I can only have limited control over the future, or what I think will happen in the future. The only point in time I can ever make a difference is right this second. Now. It's gone. See, there we go. And there's another second gone. And now we're here again.
Go through life, draw a line in the sand, move on.
Yeah.
What's happened.
Yeah, and it's about learning from that and taking a lesson from it and saying, well, actually, thank you. That was a really good lesson. And now I know I won't do that again, or I would do it differently, or I will think differently about that.
Yeah, got you.
It's about being really conscious. And one thing that really helps actually is having something I call power statements. Now, power statements are positive self-talk, which are set in the present moment, that you can use as soon as you realize that your thinking is not being very productive. Maybe you're being a bit hard on yourself, a bit negative. We can be harder on ourselves than we'll ever be on anybody else, for most of us. We can really berate ourselves. God, that was a stupid thing to do that. Do you know what I mean? You ever done that?
I have, actually. Yeah. So, yeah.
And I think we all have.
Yeah.
And we wouldn't dream of talking to other people like that, but we talk to ourselves like it.
Yeah.
So if you're getting...
I agree. I'm probably a lot harder on myself than I should be.
Yeah.
And I might feel disappointment in myself that people haven't seen, because I felt that I've not delivered, to an expectation. And that could be in family, that could be amongst friends, that can be in business and so forth, So I do it for myself. I do think I probably am harder on myself than I should be.
Yeah, and I don't know anyone who isn't, to a degree.
Yeah.
You really start consciously changing that.
Yeah.
You know, we all can have a tendency to be like that. And the thing is, it's becomes patterned behavior. It becomes learnt behavior. And the more we do it, the easier it becomes, and the more that's what we should do. So we spiral into that whole thing of being negative with ourselves, beating ourselves up, but we can change it.
Yeah.
So the thing is, then with our power statements, so if you ever think one of the following, I'm not sure I'm going to be able to do that. I can't afford that. I'm not good enough. Life is unfair. I'm so stupid. I'll never have any money. And that's just some of the regulars that come up. Or any other negative thing that you can have. Do you know what? It's time to kick in a power statement. And a power statement is something like, so let me put another slide up. There we go. Yes, let's move on to the next one. Bear with me. Okay. So we got here a negative feeling. I'm so stupid. Now, as soon as you realize that you're saying something like that, we can change it consciously. And the more you think about this, the more conscious your thinking becomes, which is where coaching kind of really helps you to consciously understand how you're thinking. And then you can have your own statement. So instead of 1 second saying, I'm so stupid, and you catch yourself saying it, and then you can say, everything I need to know comes to me. Or I have all the ideas, answers, information, and wisdom I need at this second. And you automatically overplay, rewrite the I'm so stupid with actually everything I need to know comes to me. I trust that the information and everything I need to know is going to be there as I need it. And that actually I do have the answers, I do have the information, and anything else I need to know will, you know, I'll hear about it. And that's actually really important, because being able to counteract anything that let me just get rid of this now. Anything that we currently have in our thinking, and you have some positive statements there to put over the top of them to start saying instead of, is like absolutely key. But the thing is to have them in your own words, is to come up with your own versions of things that say right to you. So it's about having some really good statements that are positive, that they are in the present moment, as though you already have what you're after. So, you know, you might think, God, I'm really stupid, I'm thick, I'm not intelligent enough. But if you start saying everything I need to know, I have all the ideas and the answers that I need, whatever it is, you will find that you start attracting that in. Opportunities will come along where you'll start learning more about that. And you will start to believe that you have those answers. The more you tell yourself something, the more you believe that you can do it, that you have it, that you are it, whatever it is. And it's a bit like somebody, if you're in a relationship that isn't a particularly healthy relationship, and then you've got somebody saying, you're not lovable, you know, you're just horrible, you're not a very nice person, or whatever it is, and they're not very nice to you about, the more you hear it, the more you start believing it.
That's so funny, that issue, because when I was 8, the headmaster of my school, my parents, and they kept this information away from me. But at the age of 8, they said that they literally indicated I was a bit of a stupid child at school.
Wow.
They said that I would be lucky to get you know, any O levels. Certainly don't expect any A levels, and the chances of going to university was nil.
Wow.
And it wasn't until I got my degree at university and I got a postgrad to do marketing research at Newcastle that my dad said to me, let me tell you a story.
Wow.
And he said, that's what the headmaster said to me, and I kept that to myself because I actually believed you could do better. How cool was that? Because I think if that was a way of, he didn't influence me with the, you know, the belief of someone else, and he kept that away from me because he actually believed in me without actually saying that. And so you know, I achieved everything I wanted to achieve. But would that have been different if at the age of 8, my parents said to me, I spoke to the headmaster, you're going to be a failure throughout life?
Probably.
And that might have changed my whole outlook. Because my dad kept it to himself, I then supported me through my education and so forth. And then told me after I achieved what I wanted to achieve. I thought that was pretty cool. So it actually, you know, it works with what you're saying.
Well, you didn't have any preconceived notions that actually,
no, but
I'm stupid, because you weren't. You're not. It's just that was.
I proved that, but I don't know why that headmaster would have that conversation with my father at 8. And you know, and some fathers might actually go and, you know, would have had the conversation with the child somewhere between 8 and 18. Because that would have stuck in their brain that you are stupid and stuff like that, and put you down and so forth. And my dad never did that.
No.
And so that's probably where, you know, I probably believed in myself, and my dad believed in me. I didn't fill my head with negative thoughts, which could have actually changed my whole life. And
do you know what? That's so true, because our beliefs actually come from different areas. So the first one is cultural beliefs.
Yeah.
Then you have family beliefs, and then you have your own personal beliefs that you build on top of that. So just because that one person, your head teacher, had a perception of you, his perception, which wasn't necessarily the truth, because it wasn't, it was just his perception that you weren't going to be good enough, didn't mean to say that that was something that had to become your own belief.
No, exactly.
And very often, you know, if your dad had said that to you,
that might have influenced me, because, you know, I did hold my father in esteem. You know, I did look up to him, and if he'd said that to me, I would probably believed him.
Yeah. And you would have held yourself back unknowingly because of one person's remark, and that could have shaped and changed the rest of your life, thinking that forever you weren't quite good enough and somehow you were a failure. And which meant that you wouldn't have achieved and done what you've done because you didn't quite believe in that.
And I'm a strong believer that, in actual fact, that in business, for instance, when you're looking, you know, you have a 5-year goal and so forth, and you really, you know, you have a vision for the future, and you did a great session on vision previously, and you have that vision for the, you know, and if your family don't agree with it and your friends don't agree with it, you know, completely ignore them. You know, because at the end of the day, this is all about you and your vision and your beliefs and so forth. And quite often, some of the people who hold us back are those closest to us.
There's a nice story, and I know we've only got a few minutes left, but there's a good story about this I'll really quickly share. In that there was a guy who really, really wanted to live in Ireland. He had this vision, this dream of setting up a business over there. He could picture this house by the water. He could picture his business, and that's what he really wanted to focus on. But the problem is when it was delved deeper, his wife didn't want to live there,
right?
And neither did his children. So if he'd carried on in that journey, what he would have had is a broken marriage at the end of it.
Got that.
So really, it's about getting your objective and believing in something to the highest good of those concerned around you.
So belief has a compromise in it somewhere.
So what he then did is he sat down with his wife and his kids, and they came up with a shared vision, and they bought a holiday home in Ireland.
Oh, I like it. That's a good story. That's very good.
So it was a compromise.
Yeah, I get that. It's a good one.
And actually, he realised that actually his family were more important, having that together, than that vision of having and being on Ireland completely.
I got that.
So it's about, yes, getting your vision and know that you're going, but also doing it with awareness of what's right for the highest good of your family or whatever around you.
Okay.
So, yeah, the compromise is good. Anyway, we're practically at the end. Let me just put back up. I've got another slide to share with you because we're going to go in a minute. Right. So yeah, it's been really nice going through this session. Thank you, Jonathan. I've enjoyed our chat, and I hope everybody listening has enjoyed it too. It's been a real pleasure spending your lunch break with you. So let's put this, oh, if I can share this. There we go. So as I said before, getting and understanding where you are and how you talk to yourself is a very individual thing. And there are some really short tools that you can do that I do in my challenges. I mean, I did the breathing technique with Jonathan. But if you really want to get to the nuts and bolts of how you are, then understanding how you talk, having coaching for your employees, if you have employees, is really important in supporting them in your beliefs so that they can help you achieve your goal. If you want to book me as a speaker and elevate your business event, then that would be great. I go all around the place doing inspirational talks on how you can build your belief or your vision or tell a better story or live the story you want to tell. That's really important. So you can get hold of me on any of these. A Facebook, I've got a Facebook group or Facebook page is Why Follow the Herd. Twitter is Why Follow Herd, or you can give me an email at debbie@whyfollowtheherd.com. And Jonathan, do you want to share your details and how people can get hold of you?
Yeah, certainly. I'm Jonathan Keeble. I'm a business coach and consultant, and I do help business owners achieve what they first went into business for. And I'm on the next session and so forth, which I'm going to be talking about mastering your destination, your finance, your time, and delivery service and so forth. And as you can see, if you want to get hold of me, my mobile number is 07960 661 392, and my email is jk@jonathankeeble.com. So that's really quite nice and simple. But certainly what I do, I work with a lot of business owners, and I do offer a 90-minute free consultation where I will give you some great ideas for your business, and it would be good to get in contact with you. So please get in contact.
Yeah, and that's a good point, because I do brilliant 90 minutes is a fantastic offer, and equally I do a 30-minute free coaching session. So I'm so looking forward to next week. We're doing, Jonathan, please register and sign up. We'll be sending out the details and the link to register for that. Jonathan has always got some fantastic information to share, and it really makes a lot of difference to people's businesses. Having these two things together, having the way you think and how you can achieve something, and then Jonathan's practical tools for getting there, will make what you want to do unstoppable.
Thank you, Debbie. Very good session today. So thank you very much for that.
Yes, and thank you for joining me. And thank you, everybody, for joining me. I hope you've got a lot out of today's session. And as I said, look out for the link. We've got another session next Wednesday with Jonathan's going to be in co-presenting with me again. So I'm really look forward to that. And we hope to see you there. So thank you for your time, and see you again soon. Take care.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.